Thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, Siddharth Luthra, Gaurav Luthra are in Phuket. They're the owners of the nightclub where 25 lives were lost. And a system that allowed them to operate, get licenses. In fact, they didn't have licenses. But they still got documents to keep that club running. And in a club where 25 people died, as of this minute, nobody knows where they are. All we know is that they fled India 6 hours after the fire. We have some breaking news updates on that story as we investigate further. That in the Indigo Monopoly story on the show tonight. Here are the headlines. They're all waking up after 25 lives are lost. Corruption has killed 25. But the optics begin in Goa. Bulldozer action too little too late. First photo of one of the brothers who fled India. The first photo on landing in Phuket. Agencies ask Interpol help to ensure that they don't flee Phuket now. Getting in details of the club owners, the Luthra brothers fleeing perhaps to Mumbai. Is that on their radar given they have a residence in Dubai? Agencies on alert.
We are encouraging more new airlines to start and operate in India, ensuring fair access to airport capacity and eliminating any possibility of duopoly, controlling connectivity and pricing in our skies.
Republic forces the government. The government forced to talk about duopoly after Republic reported it, after Republic debated it. Republic's report on the monopolies and duopolies in Indian markets becomes the #1 talking point across the country. It reaches the parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, the tragic fire at a Goa nightclub. It's a man-made disaster. Man-made disaster that ensured 25 lives were lost. One of the deadliest fire incidents the state of Goa has seen. The Luthra brothers, the owners of the Birch by Romeo, the club where 25 people died, have left the country for Thailand. And Republic broke the story last night, saying they escaped 6 hours after the fire. They're currently on the run. After the Goa Chief Minister, who has, by the way, woken up after 25 lives are lost, bulldozers have begun to roll in Goa. Too little, too late, because the state government has suddenly realized that the entire focus is on them and how corruption killed 25 people. Many other clubs are now coming under the scanner, and they're beginning to demolish these illegal clubs. And we found out during the investigation that this particular club was first demolished in July, but was later reconstructed. As more updates come in, authorities have also ramped up investigations. We're getting in more details of the passport. The Goa Police has issued a notice to the Luthra brothers as their entire business empire now comes under the scanner. In fact, there is also a government, it's not the Goa Police, but there's a small correction. The central government has issued a notice to the Luthra brothers, and they've been given 7 days. 7 days time to reply. I'll go across to Swarali, joining us with the details. Swarali, 7 days given. Can you take us through what this particular letter says?
Yes, according to the major update in this entire story, we have been tracking since last 3 days. Let me tell you, in this written all letter has been given by the government of India to Luthra brothers as they are fled the scene wherein 25 people have lost their life. And another breaking update right now is that the Goa Police has written a letter to Ministry of External Affairs to cancel the passports of Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, the Luthra brothers, and the passport office has also issued a notice. On the other hand, Ministry of External Affairs has replied to Goa Police saying that revocation process of passports of the Luthra brothers is in process. This is a major update in this entire case. Right now we're standing outside the Romeo Lane club, the nightclub which was demolished right now by the Goa authorities. As we all know already that they have fled the scene on the morning of 7 December 5:30 a.m. and a lookout notice was generated by Goa Police in the evening, and post that Interpol had given out blue corner notice, which means all the information will be gathered regarding their whereabouts. And now, according to very recent update, they are asked, the letter has been sent to Luthra brothers, who are the allegedly major perpetrator of this entire event. They're the owner of Romeo Lane Birch nightclub in the Arpora region, wherein 25 people have lost their lives in this fire incident. On the other hand, a major crackdown is happening on the government officers. Already 3 are suspended. The former Secretary of Pollution Control Board, Director and Secretary of Panchayat, and in a fray are other government officers, and the suspension can go on. On the other hand, there are several such nightclubs, restaurants, bars which are under scrutiny right now, and a major crackdown can happen in the state of Goa because opposition parties as well as the MLA from the BJP itself, Michael Lobo, when we tried to interact with him, he has said that according to his data, allegedly 50% of nightclubs might not have fire NOC, which is an alarming percentage which has been claimed by the BJP MLA himself, and that's why audit has been ordered. On the other hand, magisterial probe results should be out soon. That's the kind of input and update we are tracking on the story. Back to you.
The Luthra brothers have been given 7 days time to respond. 7 days from by the MEA, which has written letters. We have a copy of the letter. 7 days time given by the MEA, and they've been asked to respond why their passports should not be impounded. This is after the Goa Police asked the MEA to move and revoke the passports of both the brothers Saurabh and Gaurav, both of whom are currently in Phuket and fled India 6 hours after the fire. Now, this is the big breaking news update, ladies and gentlemen. Secondly, from Phuket, I'm moving across to the second angle. The second angle is the brothers Saurabh and Gaurav, accused in the Goa nightclub fire, reportedly have a Dubai connection. They own a home in Dubai where a few family members are currently residing. Interestingly, we are also hearing that they returned from Dubai just 4 days before the fire broke out at their club in Goa. So they were in Dubai, they came back, and investigating agencies now believe that this may have been a strategic move as they allegedly fled to Phuket, Thailand via the Delhi airport. They may be moving to Dubai. Now, agencies suspect that they may be moving to Dubai from Phuket, and they have approached the Interpol. Agencies have approached Interpol to try and stop them in Phuket. Agencies fear that their hideout could eventually be Dubai. We have a report from Phuket. Vijay Tiwari, correspondent, sending us this report from Phuket.
दोस्तों नमस्कार, मैं विजय तिवारी फुकेट से ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट कर रहा हूं। आपको पता चला होगा कि गोवा में नाइट क्लब में आग लगी थी, जिसमें हमारे 25 लोगों की जान चली गई। बहुत ही दुखद घटना सुनने में आया, और इसके बाद से ये पता चला कि जो गोवा क्लब के ऑनर थे, 2 सौरभ और गौरव लुथरा, वो दोनों उसी नाइट नेक्स्ट डे मॉर्निंग फ्लाइट करके भग के थाईलैंड चले आए। थाईलैंड से वो फुकेट में आ चुके हैं। मैं अभी फुकेट ग्राउंड पातोंग से बोल रहा हूँ, और हमारी इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने अभी थाई सीबीआई टीम से बात कर रही है, उनकी डिटेल निकाल रही है कि ये लोग भग के फुकेट में कहाँ छुपे हुए हैं, किस रिसोर्ट में या किस आइलैंड पे रुके हुए हैं। तो हम जल्दी ही उसका अपडेट आप लोगों को बताएंगे। यहाँ की पुलिस चेक कर रही है, जैसे कुछ भी अपडेट होता है 1-2 दिन के अंदर तो मैं आपको इसकी पूरी रिपोर्ट जानकारी देता हूँ। नमस्कार, विजय तिवारी, फुकेट, थाईलैंड। दोस्तों नमस्कार, मैं विजय तिवारी फुकेट से ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ। आपको पता चला होगा कि गोवा में नाइट क्लब में आग लगी थी, जिसमें हमारे 25 लोगों की जान चली गई। बहुत ही दुखद घटना सुनने में आया और इसके बाद से ये पता चला कि जो गोवा क्लब के ऑनर थे दो, सौरभ और गौरव लुथरा, वो दोनों उसी नाइट नेक्स्ट डे मॉर्निंग फ़्लाइट करके भग के थाईलैंड चले आए। थाईलैंड से वो फुकेट में आ चुके हैं। मैं अभी फुकेट ग्राउंड पातोंग बीच पातोंग से बोल रहा हूँ और हमारी इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने अभी थाई सीबीआई टीम से बात कर रही है, उनकी डिटेल निकाल रही है कि ये लोग भग के फुकेट में कहाँ छुपे हुए हैं, किस रिसोर्ट में या किस आइलैंड पे रुके हुए हैं। तो हम जल्दी ही उसका अपडेट आप लोगों को बताएंगे। यहाँ की पुलिस चेक कर रही है, जैसे कुछ भी अपडेट होता है 1-2 दिन के अंदर तो मैं आपको इसकी पूरी रिपोर्ट जानकारी देता हूँ। नमस्कार, विजय तिवारी, फुकेट, थाईलैंड। दोस्तों नमस्कार, मैं विजय तिवारी।
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a breaking news update coming in. Pictures of the IndiGo CEO, also the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Breaking news pictures coming in on the show right now. The IndiGo CEO, Peter Elbers, is at the Ministry of Civil Aviation. And we are getting in more details of the ministry, that is the Civil Aviation Ministry, deciding to curtail 10% of routes. 10% of routes will be cut. We have a picture coming in. The ministry, the Civil Aviation Ministry, has said it considers necessary to curtail the overall IndiGo routes, which will help in stabilizing the airline's operations and lead to reduced cancellations. A curtailment of 10% has been ordered. Curtailment of 10% has been ordered, and while abiding by it, IndiGo will continue to cover its destinations as before. This is a big setback, huge setback to IndiGo. During the last week, the minister has tweeted saying during the last week, many passengers faced severe inconvenience due to IndiGo's internal mismanagement of crew rosters, flight schedules, inadequate communication. And while the inquiry and necessary actions were underway, another meeting with IndiGo's top management was held to review the stabilization measures. And today again, IndiGo CEO Peter Elbers was summoned to the ministry to provide an update. The minister is saying that Peter Elbers, the IndiGo CEO, has confirmed that 100% of the refunds for flights affected till 6th December have been completed. The ministry considers it necessary to curtail the overall IndiGo routes, which will help in stabilizing airlines' operations and lead to reduced cancellations. 10% of all routes have been curtailed. And while abiding by it, the minister says IndiGo will continue to cover all its destinations as before. IndiGo has been instructed to comply with all the directives of the ministry, including fare capping and passenger convenience measures, without any exception. This is a big breaking news update coming in. 10% of IndiGo routes have been curtailed by the government following that meeting. There's a picture of the minister meeting the IndiGo CEO. That's the picture on your screen right now, where IndiGo CEO Peter Elbers is seen meeting the Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu. Chandrakala is joining me live. Is that meeting still on? Chandrakala, is that meeting still on? Do we have any more details of the outcome of that meeting?
Well, the meeting has concluded, but the fact that, of course, the Ministry of Civil Aviation has today called in an emergency review meeting wherein the representative from IndiGo, of course, the CEO of IndiGo was summoned to the Ministry of Civil Aviation. We have just seen a statement being put out by the Minister of Civil Aviation, Ram Mohan Naidu, where he has given a detailed information as far as what was the outcome of the meeting. What we are learning is that the CEO of IndiGo, Peter Elbers, was summoned to the ministry to provide an update. He confirmed that 100% of the refunds for flights attached 6 December have been completed. In fact, a strict instruction was also given to expedite the completion of the remaining funds, and baggage handover was given. The fact that the minister himself has tweeted that many passengers have faced severe inconvenience as far as the IndiGo's internal mismanagement is concerned. We have seen him earlier giving a detailed information regarding the entire crisis in the Parliament, where he has warned IndiGo of strict actions. We have seen the IndiGo CEO coming out with an apology as far as this entire situation is concerned. And today he was being summoned in the Ministry of Civil Aviation to give a detail as to what kind of steps has been taken to mitigate this entire issues. Now, I'll give a detail as to what was a statement being put out by the Minister of Civil Aviation. The ministry considers it necessary to curtail the overall IndiGo routes, which will help in stabilizing the airline's operations and lead to reduced cancellations. A curtailment of 10%, let me repeat, a curtailment of 10% has been ordered. While abiding with it, IndiGo will continue to cover all its destinations as before. Now, we have seen that more and more flights still remain cancelled across major cities today, and this meeting was called in. An emergency review meeting was called by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, where not only IndiGo but other airline operators, of course, Air India and SpiceJet were also present. Where there were few key takeaways from the meeting, wherein it was discussed that they should ensure safety and security of the passengers, and the fact that one of the most important key takeaways was that this entire issue will be taken into consideration, and after January 7 and 8, this issue will be sorted out completely. But meanwhile, yes, IndiGo has been instructed with all. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has instructed IndiGo and other airline operators to, as far as the airfare cap is also concerned. And now the IndiGo CEO was also summoned here. And
stay with me, Chanakala. I want to play out what the minister said in Parliament. For the last few days, ladies and gentlemen, we here at Republic TV have been talking about how monopoly and duopoly in different markets, and this specific instance is about the duopoly in the aviation market and what it's come down to. And the aviation mess, we've been saying, is a manifestation of that, because one airline had a duopoly along with Air India, and they controlled jointly 91% of the market, and it's all come down to this. And today, the minister, and after we raised this point, and Arnab has been debating it, our editor-in-chief has raised it on the debate, on the dangers of duopoly, and finally the government today forced to take up the issue in Parliament and admit that yes, there was a duopoly and there is a threat from duopoly. I have the minister's soundbite, but we have Captain Ajay Ahlawat also joining us. Captain Ahlawat, before I play out what the minister said while admitting the duopoly in the aviation market, I'd like to get your response. 10% of all IndiGo routes have been curtailed. Is that enough?
Actually, if you look at what has been curtailed, it's a word play, because IndiGo typically was operating 14,000 flights every week. And for the winter schedule, they increased it to about 15,000. So the reduction is from the 15,000, and that reduction is essentially something they were unable to operate. This is not really a punishment. This is more like, okay, you could not fly these routes, so we're taking away these routes. The minor element of punishment, the whole thing, is they've asked IndiGo to identify the routes on which they have more than one flight and they're high demand sector, and curtail some flights from there. In my opinion, this is just an eyewash.
Eyewash, okay. Interesting. Thank you for that, Group Captain Ajay Ahlawat. I'd like to... Okay. Venkateshwar Rao is also joining us on the phone line, aviation expert. Mr. Rao, 10% of IndiGo routes curtailed. We just had Group Captain Ajay Ahlawat who called it wordplay and just an eyewash. In your view, what does this mean, the 10% curtailment?
This is a total sham. The government and the DGCA are behaving like the ostrich with its head in the sand. They are not looking at the ground realities. As Captain Ahlawat said, 10% of the routes makes no difference. They should have said that on all sectors, you will only operate one flight. I can understand till the clearing of the passengers that are stuck everywhere, you let them allow multiple flights. After this, you will strictly adhere to the CAR as directed by the High Court. And we will not give you any dispensation. You forget February. February is too late. In fact, I'm surprised the government has not filed criminal charges against the management of IndiGo. Because this is nothing but endangering life, which is a cognizable criminal offense. The DGC officers are also involved and the IndiGo officers are also involved. and they need to see, they may remove the CEO tomorrow. He'll go back to his country, live happily ever after. But we have to see that he doesn't leave for what he has done. So if you don't want him to leave, you have to file an FIR against him immediately. But that is not being done by the government. The steps taken by the government are little too late.
Yeah.
This is only a cover-up. Nothing. Actually, IndiGo will not have any loss if this 10% flights are curtailed. In fact, they should have just suspended the license of this airline, which they haven't done so far.
Yeah, this is a very interesting situation.
Everybody's playing a cat and mouse game here.
Yeah, maybe too many lobbies involved, Mr. Rao, and complicit people who within the DGC also may have approved. And it's interesting how such people continue to remain, and maybe some of them are also investigating the entire mess, which of course in itself is a joke. Thank you, sir, for speaking to Republic TV. I'd like to play out what the minister said. Ram Mohan Naidu, Civil Aviation Minister in Parliament, forced to admit today that yes, there is a duopoly and they're trying to fight the threat of duopoly. Listen in.
Through our policies, we are encouraging more new airlines to start and operate in India, ensuring fair access to airport capacity and eliminating any possibility of duopoly, controlling connectivity and pricing in our skies. More airlines mean more choice, more affordability, and more resilience for the passengers. Through our policies, we are encouraging more new airlines to start and operate in India, ensuring fair access to airport capacity and eliminating any possibility of duopoly, controlling connectivity and pricing in our skies. More airlines mean more choice, more affordability, and more resilience for the passengers.
So Chanukala, are we expecting more action perhaps, or is this it?
Of course, since this emergency meeting has been called by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, now more and more meetings. There might be more meetings scheduled in coming few days, given the situation. Because although this was a monthly review meeting, but of course, given the situation, this entire IndiGo crisis was very much on the agenda. And of course, the IndiGo CEO, who was also summoned in the ministry, and he has given this detailed information, and also regarding the curtailing of routes. So yes, more meetings are expected given the situation, because the fact that this entire situation is expected to get sorted only after 7th or 8th January. So we'll have to wait and watch as to if more and more meetings will be lined up in coming few days, given the situation.
Okay, thank you for that. We have to leave it at that. We have some more details and facts of the different routes, the clearances that were given for the extra routes, and before that, the monopoly-duopoly debate, which has been our focus for the last few days. Of the 1,200 domestic routes in India, currently IndiGo routes are about 950. They operate in about 950 routes across India of the 1,200. And they have a complete monopoly in 600 of the routes. 600, half of India's domestic routes, they have a complete monopoly. And they have a duopoly along with Air India in about 200 routes. So just them and Air India in about 200 routes. And that's the situation today in Indian aviation. That's the current mess that we are questioning. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break. And at 8 p.m., Arnab looks at the subject in great detail. Is the aviation mess that we've seen in the last 1 week just a manifestation of the monopoly debate in India? And is there a larger need of looking at monopolies in different sectors in Indian industry? That's our focus at 8 p.m. and at 9 p.m., the Luthra brothers. And how corruption killed 25 and the killers have fled India. That's coming up on the debate. Thanks for watching.